Okay, and it is time for the bonus game, the one and the only bonus game run by our super secret runner, which we haven't even announced yet. We haven't announced anything yet. Should we talk a little bit about it now?
Yeah, I think a good time. So it's not on screen yet because I gotta do some updating stuff. I can't get it to show. Yeah, hang on. 1 second.
Literally keeping this as secret as possible.
uh, yeah, because of how I'm doing Restream, I can't launch the game until we've transitioned back to the screen. So yeah, this is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows PC. We realized yesterday when we decided to add in the bonus run that we didn't have any games past HP4. And, the Harry Potter community is so much more than just the first couple of games. So we decided, yeah, let's throw in one of the later entries. So yeah, this is what I think. This is for its length, pretty solid run. There's no major glitches or anything, but there's some cool tech that'll save us a lot of time. I say no major glitches, but I don't know. There's a lot of out of bounds in this. It's the only really glitch kind of thing that we have, and it's pretty limited as to where we can use it. But when we can use it, we're gonna use it like crazy. Uh, can somebody tell me how audio's doing? I'll turn it down a bit if it's a little too loud. This is
Basing
the third person shooter.
basing it off the stream, it sounds okay.
Okay. I'll turn it down just a little. Camping in the woods, yep. Yeah, the game's gonna freeze anytime I have to tab out, so. Yep. Let me make sure my controls are set up correctly. And then I'll be ready whenever. Camping during deathmatch as well, yeah. Nope, not controller. Yep, everything's set. Okay. So, times when I hit yes. So we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go. Whoops. I guess it was when I hit easy, but oh well, 2 seconds. I got a start timer on stream as well. I don't have it open. Uh-oh. We'll start the timer in a couple of minutes. Yes, the speedrun does include the wedding. There's not a ton that goes on during it, but yeah. It covers everything that the movie covers. So we start with, the seven Potters leaving the Dursleys and end with Malfoy Manor and Dobby. So yeah, the first 10 minutes or so of this game are pretty pretty simple. Not much going on. But after we get to about that 10-minute mark, you'll see some of the things that make this run a lot more interesting.
There have been too many mistakes where Harry Potter is concerned. Tonight, I will kill Harry Potter in person. Everybody ready?
Once we get to the burrow, you'll be safe.
And if anyone attacks us on the way, and is all disguised as you, Death Eaters will never know who the real one is.
Hold tight, Harry!
You see no difference between the two images above. Yeah, so this section is mostly an auto scroller. Certain parts of it are, certain parts of it aren't. but it's basically just shoot everybody out of the sky. E, talk.
Hagrid, you have to go back and help the others. How do they know we'd be here? Stupefy! Keep going, Hagrid. You won't get us. You have to get out of here. Keep going, Hagrid. You won't get us. Keep going.
Whoops, I'm missing one. So one thing there is pressing E to talk to Hagrid actually causes the cutscene to start a little bit earlier. So you won't get us. We just get to hear this a lot of times. This part in the middle is 100% auto scroller. Doesn't matter whether I kill things or not. It'll always end at the same spot. So you just get to hear Harry talking to Hagrid over and over and over again. Yeah, this is probably the most boring part of the run. Could be a lot worse. I think they have to get out of here. I hope to God Hagrid doesn't stop. Definitely should have kept going. One of the things that I've always kind of liked about the series is how much they're willing to reuse the music, which sounds like a weird thing to be happy about, but it always comes, they always, I don't know, like with each game as you move up, you keep hearing just bits and pieces of the music from the earlier games, and it's nice and reminiscent.
Harry! What's happened? Where have they gone?
I don't know.
What is it, Harry? Are you alright? Harry?
The timer can't catch up. Yeah, if I alt tab out of the game, it like freezes up, so I'll get the timer in a couple of minutes. I'll have a chance where I can alt tab without losing any time.
All under control? There's more of them behind us.
Oh, nice. Thanks for the timer. So yeah, that's our flying section. It's probably the most boring part of the run.
It's Harry.
We've got one little tutorial section, and then we get into the heat of the run.
Ron! Quickly, he's coming round. Harry. Harry, are you alright?
What? Where am I? Where's
I guess not in the game. I
It's alright, Harry. Hagrid's fine.
don't think she dies in the DS version either, but
We're safe.
the DS version isn't quite the pinnacle of
Careful. You can't
gameplay
rush after what you've been through.
or Harry
you
Potter
sure?
content. Yeah, something tells me, you know, having a video game that doesn't have background music for like 95% of the game, something tells me it's
Can't expect him to go to the wedding.
not the greatest game ever made.
Just take your time, Harry. Make sure you're alright.
Ron's right. If I can't go to a wedding,
Well, they did something right in saving Hedwig, so good job, Gideon.
Dumbledore's gone. We have to finish what he started. We have to destroy Voldemort. I've been wondering. Voldemort.
Yeah, for anyone who's
his soul in Hogwarts.
a lot of people probably aren't even aware that the DS games exist. They're all terrible games. They look terrible, they play terrible, they look worse than the GBA games.
We shouldn't spoil Bill and Flair's big
And
ball.
yeah, one of them just straight up doesn't have a soundtrack. And somehow EA was fine with releasing those games.
Blimey. Seems Looney runs in the genes. Who is that?
Luna's father, Xenophilius. We should say hello.
So if you want to play handheld games, play some of the GBC games, or maybe some of the GBA ones. But skip the DS ones.
Yeah, most of the GBA ones are pretty good too. 5 can be pretty boring. 1 can be quite brutal because like every mistake is just instant death, which kind of sucks. But the GBC games in 2 through 4 are pretty solid for the handheld games.
Must you know, Mr. Potter, that we at the Quibbler fully supported Dumbledore during his lifetime.
What did you get a DS capture card for?
Support you just as fully. Thanks. Is Luna with you? She lingered in
Yeah,
that
the
shadow
GBA games are actually what I got my start on.
glorious infestation.
That's what got me started running Harry Potter games was HP4 GBA.
Lovely Gardency. You might want to congratulate Mr. Weasley on them. He was looking for you just now. Thanks. Yeah, I will.
Mr. Weasley must be up there.
So one of the more annoying things about this game is
Don't know what they look like.
running is
Dumbledore managed to find two.
kind of tricky
The ring.
as you have a certain amount of stamina that has to recharge over time. And they don't show you when it's fully recharged, so it's a lot of guessing and just kind of learning the timing. But it means that going as fast as possible can be quite difficult. So right here, I'm going to crash the game as soon as I hit this cutscene. The second you enter cutscenes, the game typically saves. And on most saves, on most of those cutscenes, it saves after the cutscene starts. So the game assumes when you load back into the game that the cutscene's already played. So about 8 or 9 times throughout the run, I'm going to be crashing the game just because it's faster to watch this intro sequence over and over again than it is to watch the opening cut, than to watch that particular cutscene. Yep, just like that. We have completely skipped everything that Mr. Weasley needed to talk about. We will never see him again. Yep. One annoying thing is Alt F4 doesn't work. So you have to manually Alt Tab and then like right click and close the game or use Task Manager or something like that.
Harry, we should go, mate.
Yeah, like even in full screen, Alt F4 just doesn't do anything.
Harry, we need to leave. London. Shaftesbury Avenue. We need to change.
Is this why we were saying, uh-oh, Deathly Hallows? No, I mean, Deathly Hallows is never been considered one of the better Harry Potter games. It's a PC game, so it's at least of some quality. All of them are at least decent when you get down to it. But this wasn't a terribly well received game. So
Everyone's all right. Who do you think looks suspicious? I don't know.
yeah.
Which in my opinion is the perfect game to close this marathon with.
Yeah. Yep, that's yeah, playing HP4 and 7 Part 1 in the same event is interesting. Playing
Legendary, you could say
the
it.
two most hated games in the series. Oops.
I only say that, of course, because we want to stick it to the creator of the series as much as possible. So let's showcase all the duds.
Deathly Hallows is 7 Part 1. Or are you saying 7, I don't know.
Jeans are a bit tight.
Oh, well, I am so sorry.
This sneaking section here is actually a lot more difficult than it looks.
It doesn't take divination, it's about planning. We'll need to plan if we're to get through this.
Making it through all this stuff without getting caught and doing it quickly can be very tricky. There's a couple of spots. I've had runs where I've just lost straight up minutes here. Order of the Phoenix is 5. Half-Blood Prince is 6. Yep, see. That one's my fault. She's all that's a cycle that I should know. She'll always be there. Try again.
Have you seen it? Maybe you could come round tomorrow, have a look.
Dude, this guy is just standing just barely hidden enough and just barely poked out enough that you can run into him. I forget about him constantly.
I just want to get it all over and done with. Then we can go back.
I came across that recipe in a magazine. It's gorgeous. Much cheaper to make something like that and take it into work.
Oh yeah, he left me in the and then I said to him,
She's not a Death Eater.
Tell Ron this person isn't a Death Eater.
Yeah, definitely not. Of course. I knew that was gonna happen. Literally right around that corner is where I have to get back to, and yep. Took off the cloak just barely too soon and I got caught. You can usually run when you get past this car, but yeah, this game is a pain sometimes.
I know.
He's not a Death Eater. The woman with the sign is a mother too. Looks
All
like
of
we're
that
lost Death Eaters then.
just for us to run down the street like normal. This way. Okay, so this loading zone, for whatever reason, has a tendency to crash, and I have no clue why. Cool, we made it. But this is also one of the cutscenes where the cutscene plays after the save, so if it crashes, it's just straight up time loss instead of
Too dangerous.
mitigating anything from the
None of the old
cutscene being skipped.
Let's sit over there. We can work out what to do next.
What do you think, Harry? Harry?
So now we get into what most of this game ends up being, which is, yeah, Call of Potter. Aim and shoot at Death Eaters. Thankfully, we have a targeting system you can lock onto people
Away from here.
to make sure that your shots don't miss. But it's a little tricky considering that headshots still deal more damage. So you have to get the game to lock onto the Death Eaters' heads instead of their bodies, which
Place. Didn't expect to
is
come here.
kind of random most of the time.
You think it's safe? Wait. What was that?
It must be one of the jinxes the Order used to protect the house.
I didn't think Death Eaters could get into Grimmauld Place.
No, but then they weren't supposed to know we were moving Harry either.
This is the only section in the entire game where we're stuck with this kind of camera. Very strange, very out of place, very tricky. Come on. What the heck happened? Yeah, the instructions are quite silly. So because of the weird camera in this section, it's incredibly easy to just get stuck on things randomly. So if I'm going up the stairs and just get stuck, blame the game.
R.A.B.
Yeah, F1 to F4.
The fake Horcrux, the one I found with Dumbledore. Regulus Arcturus Black. Sirius's brother. He must have taken the real Horcrux. Piece of Voldemort's soul.
How do we find it?
Creature. I wouldn't trust that house elf as far as I could throw Hagrid.
Creature used to live in the kitchen downstairs. I bet he's still there.
That sounds like Creature.
Hope he's all right. He's been alone too long.
Really? He betrayed Sirius.
That wasn't his fault.
There he is. Creature.
Let me crash the game again. This is the one section of the run where we crash the game the most. We have 3 crashes within a span of about 3 minutes. Just because there's that many cutscenes that save time to skip. Yep, and then immediately crash it again. We won't be seeing much more of him.
Stupefy! Retrificus totalis!
Get off me!
Hello, Harry Potter!
Retrificus totalis!
What?
Retrificus totalis!
Get these
And number 3.
elves off me!
I have no clue why that just missed. That definitely should have worked. At least this isn't the handheld games. I can only talk about the handheld games.
You do realise, don't you, that there's probably no more dangerous place in the whole
Yeah.
world for us to be?
He dies twice in the handheld games, just
Can
because
you think of another
EA is
We'll have
wonderful.
to do some reconnaissance trips to work out the safest way to get inside.
See you later, Harry.
Okay, now this is what I think the weirdest part about this game is, oh yeah, we have to go figure out all these things about the Ministry, but in the meanwhile, we've got to go save some Muggleborns and fight some Dementors. Which, noble and all, but we're also trying to, sneak into a corporation, and I'm not sure why this is helping us. I'm probably going in the total wrong direction. That's fine. Yeah, lots of padding. So there's 9 different spots in this game where we just have to do some random mission for seemingly no reason. Some of them are pretty simple, but some of them can be a real pain. This is somehow a video game. Yeah. So a lot of these Death Eaters have Confringo and Expelliarmus, both of which can knock you over. So there's a lot of points where I have to try to kill specific people so they don't knock me over. Those are the only two requirements for a video game. Oops. Thankfully, this game doesn't have any QuickTime events, so it could be much more Call of Duty than it is. If you'd like that, try Part 2. That game loves to put QuickTime events in points where you definitely don't need them. Isn't Part 2 shorter than the movie it's based off of? I mean, most of the Harry Potter games are shorter than the movies they're based on. I believe HP6 is the only one of the only ones. 5 might be as well. 5 I thought was the shortest movie. And I think 2 is the longest or something. Okay. Yeah. Always found that weird that 5 was one of the shortest movies, despite being the longest book by a significant margin. Yeah.
Everyone in chat coming up with the same point at once.
Yep. 700 pages and just under 2 or just over 2 hours. Is it 860 or something like that? I used to know the numbers, how long they were. 870, okay. Oh, they actually made the font size smaller for that book? That's absurd. Okay, so if I get really lucky and this guy shoots at me at just the right time... Cool. I got it. So that just skipped a cutscene. Literally just him shooting at you at exactly the right time skips a cutscene, and we have no good way of manipulating it, but it's nice when it happens. Wow. That's kind of ridiculous. It's a fire protection potion right here, and we just barely can't make it on that cycle. Really have no clue what we're supposed to be doing here. For some reason, we're just running from a dragon. Okay, now the next 10-15 minutes of the game, be warned, I am very bad at this portion, and I'm quite rusty at the game, so this might take a bit.
Horcrux is in there. We have to find a way in.
Well, then we'll have to find a way to disguise ourselves.
This is another one of those sections, like the streets of London, where just a tiny, tiny little mistake can cause a bunch of time.
That's all right. We're all about extending the marathon.
Yeah.
More time to get in those donations, which we are $100 away from our goal. So please continue to try to donate if able.
Oh, he got away. What a jerk. Gonna suicide there just to make it faster. So yeah, I gotta stand right behind him, shoot him in the back of the head. Get him to drop a couple of hairs. There we go. And then sneak back in.
I think Umbridge knows what she's got. What if she's opened the locket and now she's possessed?
Wouldn't make any difference to her. She was so evil in the first place.
Yeah.
So I can get the next guy over here. Oh. Okay. So since they saw me, I'm just gonna suicide again. I already got the polyjuice part, so it'll save that, and then I can just get the next guy. This way.
I love how you can throw exploding potions like this is Grand Theft Auto or something. You're throwing grenades at yourself.
Yeah. And there's actually a part in the game where it is quite useful to do that. Cool. Got that one. That went quite well. This way. Can't believe The Last of Us ripped off Deathly Hallows.
This is completely mental.
On the door now. I worked there for years. How can they?
Come on, mate. Let's find a way in.
Yeah, totally inconspicuous Death Eaters just standing in front of a public toilet in the middle of London.
We flush ourselves in.
Apparently so.
That's bloody disgusting.
Just pull the
Yeah, literally filled with people with wands.
Blimey. There are enough Death Eaters. Don't fancy being spotted by this lot.
So this is one of a few sections in the game where we're kind of trapped into a slower walking speed. There's a way that we can run faster here, but it'll actually lock us out from getting to the next area. So instead we have to walk sideways because our sideways walking animation is faster than our forward walking animation. And there's, I think, just one other spot where we're going to be doing that.
My wife?
Forgotten her already? Well, you'll have to after she's sentenced. Now come along, or do you want me to report you too?
Of course he doesn't. We'll both come.
Sorry, mate. We'll find you when we can. You find Umbridge. She's on level 1.
Keep your head down. I'm certain we're being watched.
Okay. So just by shooting our wand, we can start running. And that triggers the entire ministry into chasing after us. However, since we're about to lose our polyjuice potion like 10 seconds later, it doesn't really matter. Okay, sneak past this guy. I need to get right where she is. Sneaking out is a lot harder than sneaking in. Cool.
The department has to do something.
Then start running about here. Is this Metal Gear? Yeah, half Metal Gear, half Call of Duty. I do that every time. I don't need to go in here yet. Come on. The darkness powder that does basically nothing, just lets us get through here a little easier. I get the feeling I missed one of these rooms. I do that pretty frequently. Nope, I'm good. Okay. That's quite easily the best I've ever done that segment. It's if you get caught by those Death Eaters there, if they get in front of you, they'll just you just die so fast. Yeah. Ideally you wouldn't have to use 4 points. A lot of the places in this game look very samey, like here especially in the Ministry, all of the corridors are just like the same color. So I use 4 points quite a bit, but yeah, it helps a lot. And it's a really neat, well, it's a neat representation of it, even though it's like totally not what the spell's supposed to do. But for a video game, it works out really well. Yeah, I'm pretty much bound to get found in this section, so... And it's a little faster too anyways, but... Try to keep the invisibility cloak on as long as I can. It's the next one. Yep. What? Did I go one too many? I did go one too many. Yeah, as I said, everything in here looks the same. Really hard to tell without using 4 points where you're supposed to go. What? I am very lost. Excuse me? Oh my god. Please don't you dare hit me down again. Yep, okay. That's fun. Okay. And then if either of those guys see you, you have to fight both of them in order to get in here. Yep, we get to fight Umbridge. Yeah, in 5 we just kind of see her get carried off. In this game, we actually get to fight her. I thought I got him.
Let's see you survive a Dementor's kiss, Potter.
Expecto Patronum!
We heard there was trouble. We knew it would be you.
over here. And then I can never find the door. Here it is. What? No. Oh, I have to kill them first? Okay. Or is not that not the right door? Nope, that's the door. They still aren't dead. Okay, so getting down here is difficult. Getting out is way more confusing. Okay, I think it's over here. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, we fight. At this point, the second most hated person in Harry Potter fandom. I'm about to die. Yep. Cool. Just to make things extra confusing, you have to go an extra bit further on this. 2 extra bits? 2 extra bits. Cool. Than we did on the way in. That was not supposed to happen. I died again. Thankfully, it saves right before we get up here. Yeah, these guys are a major pain to deal with, so an exploding potion helps out a lot. But it's also a pretty narrow corridor, so managing to hit them cleanly can be tricky. There we go.
So far, so good, eh?
Ah, tried to dodge him. There we go. Okay, so this level, this is a cool level.
Where are we? I thought we were going to
Just as soon as the cutscene ends.
Ron, I had to change where we were going, but I did it so fast. I must have made a mistake. Now Ron's hurt.
I'm alright.
Lie still. I need to apply some Dittany. It'll hurt less if you stop moving.
It'll hurt less if you stop poking me.
How do we know they won't find us here? Voldemort.
No, don't say it. I've heard someone in the Ministry. They've made you know whose name taboo. If you say his name, they can find you.
Which way?
That must be how they found us at the cafe.
Hermione, be quiet. I can hear someone. We're going to walk into snatches if we keep going like this.
That sounds like Dean Thomas.
Okay, so for whatever reason, Dean Thomas and Grip Hook the Goblin are walking around with each other in some random forest,
That was a goblin.
and we're supposed to follow them.
Grip hook! Grip hook!
Keep your voice down, or you want to get caught.
but they take a pretty long path to get there. You know, this forest has got a lot of twists and turns. So instead of just following them, we're going to take a more interesting route. It's this one. Take care of some of these spiders. Just so that I don't have any chance of dying here. And then, if we line ourselves up right... Nah, I'm messing this up. We can walk straight up this rock. This one might not work. Yep. There we go. Ah, I fell down. And I think I soft locked. Cool. Just walked a little bit too far, and yep, soft lock. But again, thankfully this game is pretty lenient with its save spots, so you can just walk right up and try again. Dude, come on. There we go. I am not lining this up well. This is one of those tricks that, for me, either seems to go incredibly well or incredibly poorly. There we go. And we're out of bounds. And then, for some reason, our speed when we're wearing the invisibility cloak is just a little bit faster than our regular walking speed. So while we're waiting for our stamina to recharge, we can just put on the cloak for a couple of seconds. Also gives us a decent visual cue to tell if we've actually charged it enough. Okay, and then that loads in, and there's the trigger for the next level.
Harry Potter. Harry Potter. shares in the daily profit. He's not much of a thing to put your faith in. You can't believe anything you read in the Prophet. You should try the Quibbler. That tells you how things really are.
So this level actually has another out of bounds in it. It's one of the first ones we found out about, but it's also by far the least consistent in that, like, we don't have any decent kind of setup. So, the out of bounds that I was just doing has a pretty good setup to it. I'm not very good at it. But for the runners who are a lot more experienced with this game, they can get that first out of bounds just about first try every time. But the one in this level is incredibly random. And even like standing in the same position and moving in the same way doesn't always get you up. So most runners don't really go for it. The one exception to that rule is Lazar, who was the first person to really do many runs of this game. And he managed to get that in an early world record. And it saved... He managed to save a pretty decent chunk of time doing it, but it's just too inconsistent to go for. Yeah, this game is like the same 5 or 6 maps just reused over and over again for whatever reason. Like, I don't think that this is not the last time we'll be here. And then there's a couple of later maps that we're also going to go to multiple times. Yeah, so you'll probably recognize this building. We've already been here once.
Goblin might recognize us. It's too dangerous.
It's not like we have any other plan, is it? At least this way we might learn something.
I think we're catching up with them.
Whoops, wrong side. I always remember that there's a guy that has Expelliarmus here, but I can never remember which one it is. Yep. That's how this game goes. You can use... Yeah. So we do have Wingardium Leviosa in this game. We will never need to use it. That is the only spot in the game where it even like asks you to use Wingardium Leviosa, and we can just walk straight past it or shoot at it to make those barrels move. And walk all the way over here just to see a pile of rocks. And now the game's going to tell us to turn around and go find a spell that can break them, which we just walked past. For whatever reason, it won't let us get it early. So yeah, everything between the middle of the beginning of this level and where I am right now, the last like 4 minutes, can be skipped with a single out of bounds. But yeah, it's incredibly difficult and usually not worth going for. And that gets us Confringo, which lets us blow up these rocks. For some reason, there's just the book telling us how to use Confringo sitting in the middle of a nuclear power plant. But it's better not to question. And then this spell is effectively like the exploding potions I've been using. They can knock you over if you use them at some... if you're a little too close to your target. So I need to remember to stand pretty far away from things before I shoot Confringo at it. There's a little out of bounds here that skips a pretty decently length cutscene. I need to be careful, make sure I actually get over it. I might hit it. Jeez. That was a mistake. Okay.
Are you ready?
Nope, I hit it. Great.
Just give me a minute.
Couldn't get up high enough.
You on the run, Grip Hook? Most wizards think goblins are on you-know-whose side.
We take no sides. This is a wizard's war.
Then why are you here?
Gringotts is no longer under sole goblin control, and I recognize no wizarding master. Still, I had my small revenge before I left.
Revenge?
Death Eaters brought a sword to Gringotts for Severus Snape. The sword of Gryffindor. Only the sword is a fake. Gryffindor's sword is goblin-made. This was a poor copy. It appears that there are some things even wizards don't know.
I know a lot of people that will be happy to see Severus Snape unhappy.
Come, it is time for us to move on.
Can I slip in a donation real quick? All right, we have a $1 donation from Tempest Mask saying, "Hot dang, how did I not know of this game sooner?" Well, either way, I feel the need to give one more contribution. I understand the original goal got surpassed, but I'd love to see this one reached if possible. Either way, thank you for hosting this marathon, and with that, I'll continue to watch. And thank you so much for that donation, Tempest Mask. Really appreciate it.
Gryffindor's sword. It's goblin made.
Can't entirely blame people for not knowing about this game. They didn't do particularly well. They weren't rated particularly well. They weren't particularly well liked. But especially if you're looking at a speedrun of the game, there's some neat stuff in there. This, with HP4, I think, are two games where the difference between playing the game casually and speedrunning the game is just really big. It makes a huge difference when you're suddenly able to... when you have a lot more, like, movement options and such. They have very cool speedruns with pretty boring main stories. And just because going through this area once wasn't enough, we now have to go through it backwards. Confringo can move boulders. Yep, well, we kind of had to use that to get here, so you're a little bit late, game. Wait, what? went the wrong way. This way. Yeah, the boulders that we just blew up were the reason we used to have to go through that room. So we don't anymore, but this is also the last time that we'll be here, so only get to make use of that once. Now that we found a good spot to camp, we have to turn around and go talk to Hermione.
This looks like a good place. We could set up camp here. I've cast protective enchantments. The camp should be hidden. But maybe Ron can still find us if he comes back soon. I mean, he knows the sort of place we'd go.
So at some point in doing all this, we managed to get Confundo, which is actually going to be really helpful for these missions. All of the areas that have Muggleborns that we have to go into are conveniently marked with 2 Death Eaters standing just outside the door. And by using Confundo, we can get them to fight each other and completely ignore having to fight them ourselves. So there's a couple of these rescue levels that casually are some of the hardest levels in the game, but in the speedrun, we make them pretty simple.
Good to read another donation real quick.
Yep.
We have $1 more from Ashlyn, who says, my last donation of the night. I have to go to sleep for work tomorrow, even though it's work from home, but still got to get some sleep in. Congrats to all the amazing runners, marathon organizers, fast force donators, and etc. Such an amazing marathon. Trans rights. $98 away, y'all. 98.
Yeah, this event went very well.
Yeah, you said it. Smooth as pretty much any online marathon can be. Exceeded our expectations and donations. The runs were great. Couldn't have asked for more.
Thank you so much.
What? That just ran straight into a wall. Yeah, unfortunately 4 points is a little buggy. There's a few spots where it'll just kind of run into nothing. People usually don't spawn there. Probably standing too far up or something. Couldn't find him. Uh-oh. Okay, we're fine. I am getting dangerously low on health. It refills fairly quickly, but this is not a good spot to be in. I'm just gonna go hide for a second. That's not good. Yeah, it's pretty safe to say that the graphics definitely get better as you keep going through these games. The later games certainly look pretty. They aren't always the most... The gameplay doesn't quite hold up to the originals, but uh-oh, the game just alt-tabbed. Gonna do that one more time just because
Godric Gryffindor's sword.
I had a pop-up on my screen.
It's hollow. I mean, it's a place we would think of, and somewhere Dumbledore knew well. But it's a place you know who would think of too. It would be dangerous.
Godric's Hollow. Birthplace of Godric Gryffindor. Obvious, isn't it? Where else would Dumbledore hide Godric's sword?
Dumbledore and Bathilda Bagshot lived here too.
And my parents.
Harry, don't you think there's a chance Voldemort's keeping a watch on your parents' grave? We should have used Polyjuice Potion.
Gonna duck in a corner just for a second here. Try to keep myself hidden to use the cloak. Uh-oh, this is gonna be bad. Yeah, okay. Well, this is gonna be a mess. Yeah, okay. So, if you, when you get down close to the end of the street, if you put on the cloak, the guy that's standing there in the middle of that archway just doesn't spawn. But running down the street and then putting on the invisibility cloak is a little tricky, just because people are shooting at you constantly. The Dementors can just totally ruin it for you. Yeah, I think it's gonna happen again. Okay, there we go. Now we're free. This one.
The last enemy that shall be destroyed.
Crash the game again. You guys are getting a real good view of the neat background. That
The layout is sick.
Yeah. This is the only time that you've really been able to see much of it. You get to see the Goblet of Fire one a lot, or the Triwizard Cup, or whichever one it is, a lot, because it's on the intermission screen, but the Hogwarts one looks really nice.
I don't think this is a good idea.
And this is the one other spot in this game where we're not allowed to run, so we get more sideways walking. Let me get my bearings. Okay. Whoops.
You're Bathilda, aren't you? Hermione, it's Bathilda Bagshot. She knew Dumbledore. She might have the sword.
There's something strange about her.
She wants me to go upstairs.
Harry!
It's all right. Just stay here. I'm Harry. Harry Potter? Have you got something for me? Did Dumbledore leave something?
I feel like that's supposed to be synced up. It's very jarring when it isn't. You got pushed by a snake. And then we get knocked across the room. That is one powerful snake that can literally knock us through a stone wall. Hitbox on this thing is awful. There we go.
Hurry!
Hermione! He's coming! Voldemort's coming!
Harry? Harry, can you hear me?
We got away.
Yes.
We shouldn't have gone to Godric's Hollow.
I wanted to go too. I really thought Dumbledore might have left the sword there.
But he didn't! You were right. You know who knew I'd go there. He killed Bathilda, put that snake there in her place, and left her in Godric's Hollow to wait for us.
Harry, no! I'm sure you ought to rest.
You think he's resting? You know who's already ahead of us on every step. Ron's gone. We've got no leads, which means we have to catch up.
I know, but... Harry, I've read the book Dumbledore left me 100 times. I've looked everywhere I can think of. I know there must be a clue somewhere, but... I'll look again. You make sure we're safe here. I'll look again.
Hermione. Hermione.
And then while she's looking, we're gonna go do some missions. I hate this lake. It's really hard to navigate. Everything, once again, just kind of looks the same. Okay, hopefully I remember where all of these are. Always forget about that. Okay, one girl's over here. Guy or girl or I don't know. Person. Oh, I hate Expelliarmus. I don't need that. Okay. And last person's down here. Where? Okay. So this is what I would consider the most annoying mission in the game. So it's another level of just, you know, shoot all the Death Eaters, but this time we're in this very open area, but if I leave these ruins at any point, a bunch of Inferi are gonna spawn, which just cause countless problems. So I'm basically confined to this little rectangular square area. When I get to the very end of the level, I can walk around a bit, but... There we go. Getting the spells to lock on the Death Eater's heads can be quite tricky. Really? He got me from there? That's... What a jerk. Wow, that sucks. I need to stop doing that. Oh, come on. That sucks. I don't know that this level saves anywhere. Uh-oh. That one. What? I'm gonna die again. Yep. This is bad. I just can't get these shots to hit. There we go. I think this is my checkpoint, so I think I literally just missed it the first time. That's gonna hit me. Yep. There we go. That was unfortunate. So yep, we're for some reason back in Godric's Hollow. What? You've got to be kidding me. This was the part of the game I had the most practice for coming into this. Please don't. Thank you. That also sucks. Game just being quite rude. What? Oh. That went straight through his head. Totally robbed. There we go.
We should move on. I think as long as we don't go anywhere that can be associated with you, we should be safe.
What about Ron?
If he was coming back, he'd be back by now. We need to move on. The Forest of Dean. I came here once with my mum and dad.
Why don't you set up camp? I'll check the forest.
Oops. Took that off too soon. And once again, reused levels. Spot that we've already been. This is a spot that I really tend to get lost in.
Come back.
I think did this spider just take that shot? I don't know that that would have knocked me over if it weren't for the spider. Okay, that hit the dough. I think one of these you can just walk over, but I don't remember which one it is, so... I'd rather just blow them all up than have to mess around with them and turn around and shoot them just after I end up being wrong.
Come back.
I think I need to switch now.
Take 'em. Impedimenta. Impedimenta. What do you want? Confringo.
Nope, that's where I'm supposed to go? Yeah. Okay. Whoops.
Protego.
I guess I'm going this way.
Ah. No. Come back. Confringo.
I love how it says come back even though we are like incredibly far ahead of them. Nope. Okay.
Confringo.
Forgot that one was there.
The sword of Gryffindor.
So this fight can also be really trolly if things don't go well. If you don't get a very quick fight, he kills you basically every time. One last push. Yep, and we're getting to the last 20 or so minutes of the run.
Job I followed your Patronus. Why did you dive in there, you mental case?
The sword of Gryffindor. The Patronus wasn't mine. Whoever left it must have wanted us to have the sword. They want us to destroy the locket. Do it.
What?
It has to be you, Ron. I know it. As soon as it opens, use the sword and destroy it. On three. 1,
think that's supposed to line up. I don't know why it doesn't. I'm missing one. Yep. Yeah, you have to basically get a perfect fight or it just kills you. Oh, I was right there. Okay, got it. Tricky fight.
I'm sorry I left. I didn't want to leave, it was just... That Horcrux was bad for me. That thing affected me more than you and Hermione. It made me think stuff. Made everything worse. I was sleeping in this little pub when I heard Hermione...
Now this is one of the weirder out of bounds in the game. Hang on, I need to kill these guys first, or they're gonna cause some problems. Okay. Walk up the rock. And we're out of bounds. Nope, we clipped back in. Too low. Okay. Yeah, so if there isn't ground, like, within a certain range under Harry, he'll just kind of float. This might clip down as well. Okay, now we're fine. These trees can be a bit trolly. They have collision for some reason. Come on. Okay.
I bet Hermione's mad with me.
That was a pretty clean out of bounds.
I wanted to come back the minute I'd left. Just didn't know how to find it. Those trees just moved.
Thanks to the tree for knocking the fairy away. Uh-oh. This is scary. Yeah. Of course. There's no winning against these guys. Oh my god. Of course.
Stupefy! Stupefy!
I'm gonna confundo one of these guys. I have no clue what I'm doing wrong here. This is kind of annoying. These spiders killed me! Okay, I don't care how slow this is. This one's getting past. What? I don't even know who knocked me over. I didn't think there was one still alive. Okay. Now we should be clear. No, I was going the right way. No? Oh, yeah. Okay. I haven't done this level in a while. There we go. I don't know why it puts me backwards every time. A lot of these levels, when it drops you in, it just has you pointed in the complete wrong direction. This level's kind of just long and boring. I should never have to cast at anything. Just a lot of running. Oh, I guess I do have to cast at things. But there aren't any Death Eaters or anything on along the way, so just a lot of walking. This one's gonna knock me over. Yep. Not that there was much I can do about that. Is this the one you can walk over? Yeah. There it is. Yeah. So for anybody wondering why I cast Protego every time I pass one of those trees, those are incredibly hard to dodge if you're not doing that. And I think we have one more crash after this. We're getting real close to the end of the game.
It's worth mentioning one last audio push to get those last minute donations in. We're at $652! Exclamation point donate to get some funds towards the trans Lifeline. Such an important cause. Get those last minute donations in.
So this is objectively the best part of the run.
He's giving them us to save Luna.
We get to sit inside of a box for 3 minutes. Yeah, this section is just you need to survive for 3 minutes, and if you stand in this particular corner and then get hit, we clip into the box and we're just sitting here. Yeah, the timer on stream appears to be about 35 seconds ahead. So my timer just hit 2 hours, so 35 seconds. Yeah, and I would like to mention, this is not a game I'm particularly comfortable with. It was a bit of a stretch for me to do this, but we wanted to get something different in the event, and figured, even if it's not a great run, it can still be a good showcase.
This is a great run.
It's an entertaining run, I'll give it that. Not beating any records, but it's entertaining. That's good enough. Yeah, got a first try box clip, that's what matters. The Harry Potter map for Minecraft? I know it's been brought up in the Harry Potter speedrunning Discord. I don't know if anyone there did any serious attempts. There might have been 1 or 2 people that give it a shot. I don't know of a leaderboard for it. I wouldn't be surprised if one exists, though.
Hermione, we have to leave.
It's moving.
It's the snatchers. They're inside. Hermione!
Ron! Harry! Take my hand!
Cool, I just golded that split. Means
Go,
absolutely,
Record
means absolutely nothing because it's 3 minutes of auto scroller, but it's fun regardless.
Record pace. Record pace.
Okay, now this is the single hardest out of bounds in the run. Not because it's hard to actually get out of bounds, but getting out of this area is quite difficult. There's a lot of people just trying to kill you here. Walk up here. Shoot right about there. And we're out of bounds. Cool. Shoot that guy, and we should be clear. That's a good one to get quickly. And then once we get past this tree, we're high enough and far enough out that we can just walk over the invisible walls and walk straight to the end of the level. That cuts over 2 minutes of backtracking off. This triggers little... There we go. Oops, not yet.
What happened?
That's not my crash, it's after this.
Seen it before. It was in a rumpet horn, Class B tradable material. They're very unstable.
So Xenophilius. Is there no one we can trust?
You can't blame him. They took Luna. And at least now we know what you know who is after. He wants the Deathly Hallows.
We can't stay here. They'll be after us.
Hello, beautiful.
Oh no, I died. How sad. That fight is impossible to win. So by throwing exploding potions up against a tree, we can kill ourselves faster. And move on to the next part of the run.
Let us go! You can't do this!
Keep quiet, beautiful. I want to see what you know who makes of you. Come on! Get in there! No!
Let her go! Hermione! Hermione! Harry, we have to do something. We can't just leave Hermione alone with them. Bellatrix is up there.
Hi, Harry.
Luna?
Are you all right?
What? Yes, this is just a stinging jinx. Hermione disguised me.
Harry, we have to get her out of here. Bellatrix finds out who we are. We've got to help Hermione.
I know, but they've taken our wands. What are we supposed to do?
Dobby can help!
Luna makes everything better.
Dobby, what are you doing here?
Dobby has come to rescue
So does Dobby.
Potter, of course.
Do you mean to say you can apparate in and out of here? And take us with you?
Of course, I'm an elf.
Get the others to safety, then get us out of here.
Of course.
That's Hermione! Harry!
Thanks, Dobby.
Whoops. Give us gameplay just for 10 seconds to walk up a set of stairs. And time is coming up in less than a minute. So, because 3 minutes of sitting there and doing nothing and just surviving wasn't enough, now we get to do it again for another 30 seconds. And time. That's the end of the run.
Must not hurt Harry Potter.
Very well done. I don't know if the timer is going to actually stop, but that is quite okay.
Oh, we got it.
All right, awesome. We got it. Perfect.
How dare you just
So just barely sub 210 on my splits.
Give the Dark Lord our regards.
It's probably what I should have given as an estimate, but that's fine.
Dobby. Oh, Dobby, no. It's okay. Here, just hold on, Dobby.
F's in the chat for Dobby.
Hermione, you're back. You must have something. Essence of Dittany, something. Hermione, help me.
Such a beautiful night to be with friends. Dobby is happy to be with his friend, Harry Potter.
And that's the game.
Excellent. Any last minute plugs or anything you want to do before we head on to closing?
Not particularly. I think I'm good.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming in with that bonus run, and thank you to everyone who donated so much money for us to be able to make that happen for you. We're gonna swap over to the intermission screen, and we'll just have a few closing words before we do our last last words, and we'll do a raid as well. All right. That is the end of the Trans Rights Are Magical Marathon. Just wanted to wrap it up and see if we had any last minute donations. We ended with $652, which, if you were here at the beginning of yesterday, our goal was $200. We had tripled our goal and then some, and I cannot emphasize how much that means to me and how much that means to anybody who was able to put this event underway. I just wanted to shout out a few thank yous before we ended and did a last minute raid or whatever it is. I want to say thank you to Cassasaur, who is in the chat right now. Cassasaur was the originator of this idea on Twitter, and just we all kind of immediately jumped into it and wanted to make it happen. And I can't thank them enough for getting that idea out there for us. Thank you to Mylan here, who, in addition to running 2 runs on his own, restreamed basically the entire event. So thank you so much for handling basically all of the tech side of things. The other side of that coin, of course, is Ness _, who assisted with tech things, as well as helping develop all of these awesome layouts and everything behind the layouts that you see here. Wouldn't have been possible to look at this stylish without Ness's work. So thank you so much. I want to thank everyone else who worked on assisting. So that would be Leica. Thank you so much for all of the hosting and everything you did to promote the event. Thank you to every single runner. And I'm actually, let's see if I can pull it up. I want to make sure I list everybody by name, because there's enough of you, but there's also few that I feel like I could do that. 1 second. So thank you so much to Ginge Swag Tia, to Complex Beaver, to Mylan again, to Emmy, to Rico, to Steve TV Online, to Keys Appenvlees, to Link Met Sneak, to actually everyone else at the end of the marathon we'd already thanked. But thank you so much to each and every one of you for contributing your time to this event. Thank you to every single person who donated to make this a much more successful event than I could have ever dreamed. And yeah, I hope that we can do an event like this in the future. Thank you so much to the Fast Force and the staff and crew behind that as well for giving us the resources that we could use to make this event happen. The Twitch channel, the social media channels, all of the moderation and staff powers that we could have needed. We couldn't have done it without them as well. Like I mentioned, I don't know if we're going to be able to do an event like this in the future, but if you like Harry Potter speedruns, we also, of course, have the Potterthon event. That is a yearly event. I don't think it's going to be... We just got finished doing one not too long ago in, what was it, May, I think? So probably won't be for another year or so, but keep on the lookout for that. And then hopefully we could do another event like this in the future just to continue to raise funds for Trans Lifeline and other trans organizations that could really use the assistance. But with that, I don't have anything else to say. My name is Conception 2. I've been just one of the cogs in the machine here and getting this to work. I appreciate you supporting me and getting this event off the ground. And we're going to go ahead and have a raid target here in a second. There's not a lot of Harry Potter players on, so we're trying to find a good one. But the raid message will be the same as yesterday, Tram Raid. I'll put it in the chat. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you when we see you. Join the Discord servers as well. That's another good one. Join the Discord servers that are on the screen.